Hello everyone. In this training session, we will focus on the HR settings. Let's begin by understanding the process flow. The user initiates the process by accessing the HR settings screen, where a new record can be created. It is essential to complete all required fields, and once the information is entered, the record must be saved. This marks the completion of the setup. The prerequisites include ensuring that the organization's setup, income tax calendar, dummy employee, process templates, and employee group have already been completed. To follow the steps, navigate to the HR Management folder, then open the General Setup and click on the HR settings to proceed. When you click on the HR setting, the window will open in a single grid layout with the mandatory fields. Map the created calendar in the payroll calendar and income tax calendar fields. Bind the dummy employee's name in the employee field, and mark the Generate Expense Invoice checkbox as true for finance integration. Then, enter the data in the other fields. Next, we have the Leave Group field. Enter the leave suffix as max cap. Update the reporting hierarchy, payslip request, and recruitment criteria, and then save the record. Now, let's switch to the system and walk through each step to understand the configuration in action. To start the configuration session, this is the login screen. The user will enter the username and password, and then click on the Login button. Upon successful login, the home screen will appear with some useful default widgets and charts. To access the screen, navigate to HR Management, then to General Setup, and then to HR Settings. The HR Settings screen is a common configuration window used across key HR modules, including payroll, leave management, workforce, and recruitment. It acts as the foundation for defining taxation calendars, payroll periods, consolidated expense setups, and leave entitlement logic. In this session, we will walk through each configuration field step by step and explain how to populate them correctly. The first field is Organization. This refers to the legal entity or company for which all HR settings will be applied. It ensures that payroll, leave, and recruitment modules are tied to the correct business unit. An example of this is the STAR organization. If you manage multiple companies, each one can have separate HR settings based on the selected organization. Now, let's understand the income tax calendar. This field defines the financial year used to calculate income tax as per statutory guidelines. As a prerequisite, before selecting a calendar, period control must be created, and the calendar should be defined in the period control screen. To configure the period control, the user can refer to the Financial Year Setup training session. This calendar typically matches the financial year of your country, like April to March for India. An example of this is the Sonic calendar, running from April 1, 2025 to March 31, 2026. This same calendar can also be used for payroll balance to maintain consistency. Next, we have the Payroll Balance Calendar. This defines the accounting calendar used for payroll accruals, reconciliation, and reporting. As a prerequisite, ensure period control and calendar are created first, or else the field will not populate. An example of this is the Sonic calendar, running from April 1, 2025 to March 31, 2026. Let's understand the employee field, which is for consolidated expense invoice. This field allows you to assign an employee responsible for generating consolidated expense invoices, usually someone from payroll or accounts. An example of this employee is payroll expense. Before selecting the employee, make sure payroll term and payment method are selected in their employee record. The path for this is Personal Info, then the Additional Info tab. Let's understand week start day. Choose the day your work week begins, which is important for attendance, shifts, and weekly leave accruals. Common options include Monday, which is the default in most regions, or Sunday, which is common in retail or Gulf countries. Let's understand the Generate Consolidated Expense Invoice checkbox. This checkbox controls how employee expenses are grouped for invoicing. If it is checked, all expenses are grouped into a single invoice, which is useful for posting of payroll expense into ledgers. If it is unchecked, each expense entry is invoiced separately. This allows more control but adds administrative effort. Next, we move to the leave group field. Here we configure the leave suffix, accrual for resign checkbox, and resign suffix if it is applicable. In this field we define a generic keyword, typically named max cap. We do not include leave type names like annual or sick leave, just a single suffix like max cap, which acts as a reusable reference. The numeric values, like 24 days, are configured in the global value window using this suffix. Examples include annual leave max cap, which is 24, and sick leave max cap, which is 10. So here, we define only the suffix max cap, and in global value, we add the leave name and suffix. Let's now move to the accrual for resign checkbox. This setting controls whether leave accrual should continue after an employee submits resignation. If it is unchecked, no separate logic or accrual will be applied. The employee will only retain the available balance at the time of resignation, with no proration or further accruals. If it is checked, leave will continue to accrue during the resignation notice period, and a new field called resign suffix will become available. This allows you to define a separate suffix to manage leave accrual during resignation, based on company policy. An example is resignation max cap. Later, in the global value screen, you can define leave-specific caps using this suffix. For instance, annual leave resignation max cap could be 2. This ensures resigned employees get a different entitlement than active employees. In this demo, we will leave this field disabled. Next we have the reporting hierarchy group field. Click Show More to view it. This field is essential for setting up the hierarchy within the organization. The user will select the Sonic organization from the drop-down, as per the requirement. Make sure the reporting hierarchy is already defined in the tree configuration window. Users can refer to the tree configuration session for step-by-step guidance. Only after the hierarchy is configured there, the corresponding option will appear in the drop-down. Next, we have the Process or Alert Templates group fields. This section includes predefined templates such as birthday template, contract expiry template, passport expiry template, visa expiry template, and work anniversary template. These templates are used in workforce management. The system triggers alerts when a document's expiry date is approaching, or when an employee's birthday or work anniversary is near, based on the configuration. When an alert is triggered, the user receives an email using the respective predefined mail template. Each process has its own specific template, which can be mapped here. This field is optional. If required, users can select the desired template from the drop-down. For details on how to configure mail templates, refer to the mail template session. Next we have the Payslip Request Group field. Click Show More to expand the section. Here you will find a checkbox labeled Payslip Approval Required. If this checkbox is enabled, the system will enforce an approval workflow. Additionally, a new field labeled Job will become active. In this field, the user must select the appropriate process or job, which will generate the payslip in the system after HR approval is completed. If the checkbox is disabled, once payslips are rolled out by the payroll admin or HR, employees can directly view and download their payslips without going through an approval process. Lastly, we have the Recruitment Group field. Click Show More to view the details. This section contains the following fields. Recruitment criteria defines whether recruitment is based on job, grade, or position. In the recruitment criteria field, select position, as currently the recruitment process is being carried out based on position. The employee group is used when an applicant is converted into an employee. It specifies the employee group that will be assigned once the offer is accepted. In the employee group field, select the appropriate employee group that will apply once the applicant is converted. Once all the required field data is entered, click on the Save button to store the configuration. That concludes the field-by-field explanation of the HR settings screen. These configurations help establish control over payroll calculations, leave entitlements, workforce processes, payslip handling, and recruitment settings. In the next session, we will cover the global value setup and how to link it with leave suffix for leave components. Thank you for attending.